Greetings and welcome to the new California Landscape Irrigation Tour. My name is Lori Palmquist and I'm going to show you how the irrigation for all of the landscapes is set up. The purpose of this tour is to provide an overview of the irrigation system. For more in-depth information about the irrigation components, I invite you to check out the interactive irrigation page. Since the irrigation is basically the same for all four landscapes, everything I show you in this tour will be applicable to the rest of the landscapes. I will be talking about the components that have been specified for the irrigation of all of the landscapes and explain some of the concepts behind the choices that were made. I would like to point out that specific brands and models have been called for in these designs. If you should choose to use different parts, please ensure that they are at least as effective as the ones called for. So let's get started. Let's go down to the valves first. Here we have the irrigation valves. They are anti-siphon valves and they're in the side yard here. I'd like to bring your attention to this little black bow tie looking thing, and that is an isolation valve. What that does is it cuts off the irrigation valves, the flow of water to the valves, if there should be any malfunction of the valves, or if a valve gets stuck open, or there are any problems with the system downstream of it. It's a very good component to have in the way of water conservation. Next, we go up to the lawn, and here is the lawn. We have the sprinklers around the lawn. I'll go up to the specifications. We have the sprinklers are here. We have Toro precision nozzles in Rainbird bodies. The Rainbird bodies for the sprinklers have SAM, means that it has a check valve built into it, and PRS means that it has a pressure regulator built into it. So check valve and pressure regulation are very important aspects for water conservation in the landscape. Next, we'll go to the drip system. We've got drip on all of the plants in this landscape. We have got sprinklers on the lawn and drip on the plants. You'll notice that the tubing has been placed so that every plant has a brown squiggly line on either side of it. The brown squiggly line is indicative of the Netafim tubing. The Netafim tubing has emitters built in, and this Netafim tubing is 6 gallons per hour, and the spacing on the emitters is 18 inches. So what we have done is we have placed the tubing so that it takes care of the plants when they get to their mature sizes. So you can see that the tubing, each plant has a tube on each side of the plant. Every plant, every plant, every plant. And this is to ensure even root growth on both sides of the plant. The strategy that we've employed here in this drip system is that we put all of the drip tubing in the whole landscape, and we put a certain number of emitters to each plant. So what you'll need to do is refer to the file on the website that is called Drip Emitter Assignments, and each plant is assigned a number of drip emitters. For instance, 1-gallon plants get 2 emitters, 5-gallon plants get 3 emitters, and 15-gallon plants get 5 emitters. And so you make sure that those plants have the number of emitters that they need for their original size. And then what you do is you plug the emitters that will not be used. I go up here and I'll show you the dripper plug ring. It's this dealy here. Netafim makes this dripper plug ring, and this is what you will be plugging the emitters with. That will not be used until the plant grows bigger. And then as the plants grow bigger, you can actually unplug the emitters. So the way this drip system has been designed, all of the tubing is in place for the mature size of the plant. I would like to point out to you, let's go down here, and these guys are pretty small. We've got these little black and white bow tie things here. There's one there, one there, one there, 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 and there. And there's one over here. These little bow tie things are manual flush valves. Up here, let's see, where do we have it? It's right there. Manual flush valve. The drip irrigation system is a closed system, and we have strategically located these manual flush valves so that you can flush out the debris out of the drip tubing. There's one there, one there. Flush out the drip tubing about every 2 months or so. Now let's go over here and have a look at these little meshy things that are attached to the valves. Actually, they're just downstream of the valves. Little mesh there, there, and there. So these are filters and pressure regulators. These are made by Rainbird. I'll show you where it is up top in the legend. Here we go. It's the Rainbird PRF. And then what this filter does is it filters out the debris in the system. It has a 200 micron filter in it, and it regulates the pressure down to 30 psi in this case. It's very important to both lower your pressure for the drip and to make sure that you have a filter on it. Now I would like to point out in these areas here, we've got a sleeve here, a sleeve under the driveway, a sleeve here. What that means is that instead of running the emitter line underneath the hardscaping, what we do is we run a PVC sleeve underneath, and then we run the solid drip tubing through that sleeve. If you want to be more sure of things, you could run PVC instead of the solid drip tubing. We've got another sleeve up here. So in places where you do not want your emitters, it's a very good thing to run under, especially under walkways and driveways, to run the solid drip tubing. Now I'll show you the controller. It is a smart controller. Over here on the garage on the outside wall, we have a Hunter X Core. And then up here, there's the controller, and over here we have the wireless solar sync. So that is the smart controller that we have specified for this design. The solar sync needs to be in a sunny position, most sun as you can put it in, and not be underneath any overhanging trees or eaves or anything like that. It needs to be free. And I would add to read the instructions very carefully when you install and program these smart controllers, as it's really essential that they be programmed correctly. And then let's see, here in the legend we have the smart controller is here. We have the Hunter XC600 and the wireless solar sync here. We have provided these boxes of data for each. There is a data box for each zone, and that tells you what the water use of the zone is. We have used incorporated hydrozones in these designs. Zone 1 is moderate water use plants. Zones 2 and 3 are low water use plants, and we do recommend that if you substitute any plants or any plants die and you need to replace them with plants that are of the same water use. This concludes our tour. Remember, there are professional irrigation stores and landscape professionals who can assist you if you need to know more. Good luck and good day.